we're going to go to our final topic here. Let me clear this ad first so it doesn't pop up. We're going to talk a little Supergirl, Rob. I know you already kind of touched on it, but Supergirl is opening this weekend, and in the preview numbers have come in. This is from Variety Box Office. Supergirl, this is domestic. Supergirl takes off with a 7.8 million in previews. You know, it's not stunning, but when you put it up against other movies in the same category, it hasn't done bad. Deadline puts it a little better here. It says it's beaten Marvel's at 6.6 million and Black Adam at 7.6. It just edged out Black Adam. And then, but The Flash actually outpaced it at 9.7 million. And that's, of course, it brought in 13 million worldwide. But let me get back to the Variety. Supergirl's projected to make between 47 million and 50 this weekend. But it'll be no match for the last weekend's, obviously, the second weekend of Toy Story, which we had at 80 million, and now it's looking more like 90 million. Supergirl has this $170 million price tag. Reviews have been rough for the superhero movie, so it will need to hit with audience to justify its hefty budget. It's also a test of James Gunn's stewardship of the DC universe. The Guardians of the Galaxy director is hired by Warner's in 2022 to help the studio stabilize the superhero movies. My thoughts on that are, I think he's doing fine. He didn't direct this movie. He's busy directing a different movie. The problem is that he is the CEO of this company, and I think he took his eyes off the ball in overseeing this. So I hope that also doesn't translate to Clayface or Lanterns, but we'll see. Back to the article real quick. It says, we know who stars in it. Also opening this weekend is going up against Jackass, but that's only going to make about 10 to 12 million this weekend. Interesting milestone here I wanted to bring out, though, Rob. Disney is the first this year to hit the $3 billion ticket sales. So they're ahead of the pack on that. Head of the pack. I want to hear your thoughts a little more. Just, I know you've given us some thoughts on what you saw with Supergirl, but let's expand on that a little more. Well, look, do you feel, let me ask you this. Do you feel like it was a reactionary movie? Like something had gone wrong, they panicked and they reacted, and that's why maybe you could tell like they moved the Krypton stuff to the center, which then forced you to have the tragedy with Crypto in the beginning when it should have been further into the movie. Do you think this was just like a reactionary, like in post, and it had more potential? Or what do you think the issues were?
I just think the conception of it was not, the idea of the DC universe as James Gunn saw it. First of all, he talked about how they weren't going to move forward without a script. This is like a first-time feature writer. And I'm watching this movie in terms of structure. The first 20 minutes, literally, there's no story happening. You know, she's going from bar to bar, and you're getting the same scene basically played over and over and over again. And it was the structure of it was, you think about Rogue One. And in Rogue One, Jyn Erso watches her father get taken away from her, and she goes into hiding. So, but it's a parental issue. Like, I would have opened this movie with the death of the parents of our young girl, because she becomes the focal point of Supergirl becoming selfless, becoming, and it's an inciting incident. It's a horrible incident, but it's an inciting incident that draws you into the story. And it felt like when I was watching the movie last night, and I saw it in IMAX, and it starts with Crypto in her ship. Like, where did that ship come from? Supergirl has a spaceship. That in itself is interesting, but that spaceship felt like Peter Quill's it felt like the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Uh-huh.
Why, if it's part of Kryptonian super science that she presumably, like, she comes to Earth, but now she's got a spaceship, and Supergirl whenever she leaves Earth, she hot rods around on her little, these are important things. Like, I asked myself, where did she get that spaceship? Did she build it? Did she buy it? Did Superman get it for her? And I'm thinking to myself, I know these are like maybe nitpicks, but this is a big deal, because they make a point that Supergirl goes to green stars, she goes to yellow stars, she goes to red stars. So it makes sense that you'd have to have a spaceship. But if you have a Kryptonian that's tooling around the universe in her hot rod, there's got to be more. You've got to know more about it than that. This is world building. And I feel one of the things that this movie did not do, like Superman gave you all this stuff about world building. It told you that there's pocket universes. It told you that there are kaiju. It told you that Lex Luthor is being able to do all these things. You have Mr. Terrific. You have the Justice Gang. You're seeing all of this stuff and it's showing you the universe. I thought that what Supergirl would do was take us cosmic and lead us in. If the Green Lantern Corps exists and there's Oa out there somewhere, well, that's going to be safe for the Lantern show to show us. But Supergirl basically showed us this generic universe that really had no ties to anything else. And as a longtime DC fan, there's all different kinds of DC planets to go to, like Rann, the home of Adam Strange, for instance. Right. Why are we going to, why do these bars all look the same? Why are there singers in these bars singing Earth songs? Why are they doing that? Like it was really strange to me. And I'm like, this movie is lacking imagination. It's just not very interesting. It wasn't visually interesting. I was not engaged by the story. Like, the idea that these parents get like creme of the 1,000 Yellow Hills or whatever. Like, why is he such a dick? Why does he look that way? That was not the graphic novel that they're adapting. And the graphic novel that they're adapting, I'm sorry, is 1,000% more visually interesting than what we got. And there was.
You think it was a budgetary thing? Like, I
honestly don't know. I really don't know. I looked at this movie and I thought, this movie should have put a smile on my face the whole time. I should have had it.
We were kind of expecting that. We were.
I did not smile once.
Yeah.
I was annoyed by the structure of the film. It didn't get started right away. It took a long time to get where it was going, and it felt very slight. I felt like I was watching the same things over and over again. It didn't take me anywhere.
Yeah.
I wanted a Supergirl movie that's out in space, that goes to multiple planets that all look the same. Take me on a journey, Supergirl, because you're on a journey. You're on a journey to make yourself feel better, or it's your birthday. You're bummed out. You're feeling melancholy about not having people. I mean, the journey is out there. She's going to Kara Zor-El needs to find herself,
right?
In
Which
this
we can see from the
amazing
trailers.
Cosmic science fiction setting. I'm excited for that. I want that. That's not what I got.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we look at currently, it was 77. It bumped back down. When we look,
I just saw the faces of people walking out of that theater, Jonathan, and nobody was elated.
Yeah.
You're going to a Superman movie.
Yeah.
And
that's not, that doesn't bode
a
well
Supergirl
for
movie, but it was a Supergirl movie. It just wasn't super.
And the problem is that's the last thing audiences remember from your world, your franchise. Now that means it might, even if Man of Tomorrow, which I am looking forward to.
Sure.
And again, I'm going to state,
I'm really looking forward to Lanterns and Clayface.
Yeah. And Man of Tomorrow. And some people are like, well, I didn't like Superman, and this proves that James Gunn has to go. Well, okay, I'm sorry, but if you and your circle of friends didn't like it, 90% it's rated certified hot, over 25,000 plus, which is way more than 25,000. 90%. And 83% of critics like Superman. I think we both can attest to the fact that we enjoyed it. That was his doing. I'm looking forward to Man of Tomorrow. And like you said, Clayface is a different direction. I hope that, that's a lot more of a stable film than what you guys have said Supergirl is. And then Lanterns looks awesome. So I think the state of the union for DCU is actually pretty strong. I think the people who already want this to fail are like, see, look at Supergirl. It's not getting good. So this whole thing needs to be washed away. No, it doesn't at all. And then secondly, this wasn't James Gunn who wrote it or directed it, but I agree with John. He's got to get his eye on the ball after Man of Tomorrow and start overseeing these like Kevin Feige oversees the MCU. Yeah. Now, for a while, Kevin Feige wasn't because he was made a middleman under Bob Chapek, but those things have changed, and we've seen the quality of MCU start to creep up again, and hopefully blow up from here. 73% of the audience, 76% of the audience gives it a thumbs up, but that could just be like, it's okay. So I don't know how this is going to translate, because even if it gets 47 million opening weekend, and then let's say it takes a 60 to 70% drop, then that's devastating. It did get $100 million in sponsorship, so it has a bit of a leg up there. But I think if this movie can pull 300 million with its sponsorship deals, it's profitable. Just if it's 350, it's definitely pushing into profit. I don't know that this is a $400 million movie. I think it's going to be one of those where they keep it in theaters long enough to cross the 300 million mark.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't think that I walked out of that movie last night looking at the people around me going,
yeah. But
I will say this, the popcorn bucket's cool. Yeah. They kind of have this Art Deco popcorn bucket. But after I was thinking about buying it, but after I walked out of the movie, I'm like, no, I don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that. I mean, her performance as Supergirl, though, I think people are still going to say, hey, she's in Man of Tomorrow. Like, I like her in the universe. I don't know that we're going to see a Supergirl too. Don't think we need to. But I do like her, like in Justice League or something like that. And then Man of Tomorrow, first off. But I'm just saying down the line, I would definitely see more of her. She's not the problem.
No, she's not the problem at all.
Yeah.
I liked her in the role very much, actually. I just felt that it was a Superman movie or a Supergirl movie or a DC Universe movie that didn't take me into any place I want to be. I want to live it, even though Doomsday is coming. I want to live in the Marvel Universe. I want to live on the Fantastic Four's Earth, even though it's not going to exist for very much longer. I want to live there. I don't want to live. The movie Supergirl did not present me a place that I wanted to even visit. There wasn't one neat alien environment in that movie. Apparently, all these planets only have a bar. Well, where's the cities, man?
Even from the trailer, when she's waiting for that bus stop, it's like, well, that looks like it's just northern LA County by like Santa Clarita.
Well, and that was another
like up by Magic Mountain.
If she's a spacefaring chick that's always traveling around the highways and byways of the universe, and she's got her own spaceship, when she got on that bus, it might have been fun if she, like I said before on I said this, I think at CinemaCon, she should know some of those aliens. You know, like, hey, Fred, or hey, John, or, you know, whatever. She's got a relationship with some of those people. She can be like, what happened to that thing with the thing? So they're not just like something
NPCs. They're just like, they're just there.
Yeah, and these alien designs, it was so like I was really disappointed in the lack of imagination. I found it strange that all the decisions that the film made about the environments and where they were going. And
so, what do you think? Final thoughts on this weekend, and I'd say total box office.
I wouldn't be surprised if this movie makes less than $300 million, and that it's not. It's going to become a problem. They're going to have to look at that and go, what are we doing here? And then I also have to, a lot of people question the script, and rightly so. But I will say, because I said I was going to reference this earlier in the show when you brought up Secret Invasion, a script can look really good and read really good. Yeah. Once it gets through production and post-production, it can be Secret Invasion. Is it fair to say 100% of this is on the writer, or could some of it have been lost? I think it's a combination. I mean, I think the script was probably a lot better. Yeah. And it just, sometimes you make movies, you have a good script and they kind of just lay there. They're kind of inert and you have to figure out, 3 different composers. I think they probably restructured the movie. Because the obvious, I would have gone into a more linear fashion. You know, you set up the fact you see what happens to her planet first, so you know why she's feeling the way she is. It's like they put it in an hour into the movie or something, 45 minutes into the movie, to make everybody wake up from their stupor. Yeah. Yeah. I hate to be harsh on the movie because I've been a big proponent of James Gunn and what he's doing. Yeah. And I looked at this film and I'm like, what are you doing, James? How does this help you? Well, he liked what he read, but like I said, I think he got so zeroed in on Man of Tomorrow. I think he was like, I can trust Craig Gillespie. And why wouldn't you think that? Well, I think, though, that, look, the MCU, at least in the first 3 stages, you had their big creative visual development team, and they were creating beautiful artwork for these potential upcoming films and detailing potential action scenes. If there's one thing you have is you should have a DC core group of people that are saying, okay, where are we going to go? What do we want this? I mean, the films can all look different,
right?
But this was a film that what look were you going for? Why are you, people are saying it looks like Mad Max. Why should outer space look like Mad Max? I mean, if you're talking about Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone and Michael Ironside's the Overdog.
Spice Pirates or Ice Pirates.
Yeah, Ice Pirates or something. But I mean, it's a DC Supergirl movie that's based on a very colorful, very artistically interesting comic.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Well, I think part of it was like I'm
just Debbie Downer.
No, well, they showed us where Kara was at the end of Superman, and I think they realized they had to bridge the gap to where we're going to see her in Man of Tomorrow. But
would you rather have her stumbling in bars that are like in the Australian outback, or would you rather have star in some amazing super metropolis on an alien world? She stumbles out of a big club where she got bottle service or something, and there's, I don't know, something cooler.
Because she's Supergirl. It's not like she doesn't have means to, like, she could have money if she needed it. But I kind of feel like the same way I did with Peacemaker season 2, which I liked until the end because it felt like now we need to push these characters in this direction so that it fits for the narrative where we're going. And they did it all at the end. And that's why a lot of people, I think, say that her ending didn't feel earned. It just felt like we had to get her there so that's what she's like for Man of Tomorrow.
And first of all, she ends that movie, spoiler alert, she kills the villain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, John said that yesterday.
Yeah, straight up murders him. And I'm like, how, there's an uplifting super a part of the Superman family for you.
Right.
I mean, he deserved to die, but he was such a one-note villain. I'm like, how do you even exist? Here's the thing. When I watch Hans Gruber in Die Hard, he's talking about nice suit, John Phillips London. He's very well dressed. He's very well spoken. That he has probably a good life. That he's got money, he's rolling around Europe, he's banging hot chicks, he's drinking fine cognac, smoking great cigars. You realize that guy has a life. I look at the villains in Supergirl, when they're not being villains and killing people and raping and pillaging, like, what do they do for fun? I need to believe that outside the frame or outside the story of the movie that I'm watching, that these characters can exist in the real universe. Those brigands, whatever the hell they were, all they do is pillage. That's all they do. They don't do anything else.
And how is no one able to stop them at this point? Because people,
I don't believe because not everybody does that 24/7. And I looked at these characters. I'm like, these are movie characters. They only exist in this movie. You couldn't put them in another movie. Hans Gruber, if he wasn't in Die Hard, you could put him in a romantic comedy where he falls in love with some countess in Sweden. I would believe that guy would do, but these guys,
right?
They're not interchangeable. They don't have any other life than to serve the story that's being given to us in Superman. And I thought that story was lame. Why? I mean, they're trafficking girls. They literally want to steal women to procreate with them and make more men. They say this in the movie. It's kind of glossed over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what you guys do? Like, to me, if you want to become wealthy, you want to, like, give me Tony Montana. When he got wealthy on the yayo, he bought himself a tiger, bought himself a huge mansion and a gigantic hot tub that he could hang out with Michelle Pfeiffer in. That's what I would do. I wouldn't want to be a brigand my whole life.
Right. There's got to be a means to an end.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this and you're like, what are these generic people in this movie that staple their faces? Why did you do that?
I think one thing that's going to benefit the DCU is that Clayface is a completely different genre. Yeah. And it goes in a completely different direction.
Well, and so is Lantern. So I'm really hoping.
And Lanterns too.
I want to get
helps it.
cosmic flavor. You know, one of the things about the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie that I did love, I mean, the tone of it was all over the place, but I love when you got to Oa with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the colors. I love meeting people like Kilowog, and I thought that they did a great job portraying the Green Lantern Corps. They just were all over the place, you know, in terms of its tone. But at least Oa was wondrous. You looked at it and like, I could see hanging out here. And that's what I expected from Supergirl, some kind of image of, you know, maybe be a place that I want to live.
Yeah. Well, look, this is probably the first blunder for, and unfortunately fairly early for James Gunn's DCU, but it doesn't mean that's the rest of the DCU. It doesn't mean they can't learn from this and retool. And I think James Gunn is adaptive, and I think he's seeing the tea leaves here, and he knows what went wrong more than us, because he was, you know, and whether some of that is on his end or just the choices they had to lead this movie. Look, the MCU has had many mistakes like this, and it's survived. So unfortunately, because it's so early in the DCEU, it takes up a bigger slice of the pie because there's not as many examples against it. But hopefully we just leave this in the past and it becomes one example or maybe two examples along the way. But anyway, guys, we're going to leave it there with our thoughts on Supergirl.
Sorry, I hope I didn't bum anybody out. I really hope that I didn't harsh anyone's mellow. You
are echoing a lot of critics and what they've been saying about this movie. I still am going to go see it.
You got to see it.
And I got to, you know, so that's fine. But, you know, and everyone's going to, look, 76% walked out with a thumbs up. So whatever.
Look, I went and saw Triple Bill yesterday, Jonathan. I started with Supergirl. Then I went and saw The Death of Robin Hood, which blew me away. And then I went and saw Girls Who Like Girls, which is a wonderful indie film.
So look, I'm just going to bring this up. Ricky Bobby says a big L on the second movie is tough to recover from. I agree with you on one portion of that. It sucks, like I just said, because your second movie, you only have two slices of a pie in terms of movies, if you're not even counting the TV end. It doesn't doom an entire franchise. It doesn't doom a studio, though. It just looks bad right now because you only have one of two that's bad, you know? So as more movies come out, and especially the fact that they're different genres and different takes and almost seemingly auteur films, that's going to be left in the rearview mirror. So I agree it looks bad, but it's not dooming, is my opinion on that. Right. But you might have a different opinion, and that's fine. But anyways, Rob, we're going to leave it there for today's show. And on this,
guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, Hims. You know, one of the hardest things about trying to lose weight is just figuring out what actually works. Because we've seen them all. There are a million trends, diets, and gimmicks out there, and honestly, it can get overwhelming. And that's why Weight Loss by Hims really stands out. Hims now offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications, including the Wegovy pill at its lowest price ever, and the Wegovy pen. With Wegovy at Hims, lose up to 20% or more of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. It helps you regulate your appetite and eat less, so success is within reach. Plus, Wegovy is the first ever and only GLP-1 available in a pill for weight loss, so there are no needles needed. And the process is extremely convenient. Everything happens online. You connect with a licensed provider who determines if treatment is right for you, and if prescribed, your medication gets delivered right to your door. No insurance necessary. Ready to reach your goals? Visit hims.com/Campea to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's HIMS.com/Campea. hims.com/Campea. Based on advertised cash price for 30-day supply of medication only. Membership required, fee not included, and billed separately. Weight Loss by Hims is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk A.S. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information, and restrictions, visit hims.com.